had a good time, huh?
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Mornings with GWBC. I am Roz Lewis, President and CEO of the Greater Women's Business Council, and we are so happy to have you join us this morning for season 3. Can you believe we're in season 3 of Mornings with GWBC? And so we hope you have your favorite cup of coffee, your tea, and your delicious smoothie. We want you to sit back and relax for the next 30 minutes as we bring you great information from our special guests. We have our top 10 countdown of resources to grow your business and that wonderful raffle where one of our viewers in the audience will win a Macy's gift card. But I have one question. Can you believe we're at the end of January already for 2022? We only have 11 more months of success that we need to get going and make sure that eventually and hopefully we get to see each other in person. So one of the things I do want you to do is to continue to follow us on our social media platform of Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and now Instagram. Please follow us on Instagram because we have great information there as well. We want to thank Delta Airlines for being our premier sponsor today. So congratulations, Delta, and thank you for being a part of today's session. And now, without further delay, let me introduce our special guest. It is Kimberly Coffman, who is a marketer, program manager, and diversity and inclusion leader. And in her current role, she executes a strategic supplier diversity initiative at Delta Airlines that spans the company's global operations. And prior to Delta, Kimberly served 19 plus years, she doesn't look it, right? In advertising, broadcasting, marketing, and supplier diversity at Herman Miller, Davison, D. McCarthy, and Wave TV3. And she is a frequent speaker and panelist. Kimberly serves as the chair, National Minority Supply Development Council, Air, Rail, and Transportation Industry Group, and has authored several research reports on best practices in supplier diversity. And she's a native of Grand Rapids, Michigan. So this is kind of a heat wave for her compared to the winters she's experienced up in Michigan. And she holds a master's of management degree from Aquinas College, ABA, in the telecommunications from Michigan State University, and a Supplier Diversity Excellence Program certificate from Tuck Executive Education. And of course, she currently resides here in Atlanta, Georgia. So please welcome Kimberly. Kimberly, good morning.
Good morning, Roz. How are you? And Happy New Year. The first time I'm really getting to see you of the new year.
I know, it is so exciting. You know, again, it is reaching out and touching someone. How do we get to, eventually get back to our in-person events so that we can connect even more with people? Not that virtual isn't a good substitute, but at least we'll be able to, as I say, inhale the same air, right?
Yes.
Of connecting with each other. So hopefully that's what we're going to be able to do during the second quarter. But
and I am so honored to
know,
be your first guest on this new season
yeah,
of
well,
Mornings with
thank you.
GWBC. So thank you so much for having me.
Yes, I'm excited to have you here as well. You know, Delta is one of the founding members of GWBC, you know, and has been a lone supporter, you know, from the very beginning. It was Delta and UPS who actually started the Greater Women's Business Council. But explain today what's happening, you know, with Delta, you know, any updates that you can share that's occurring.
Well, as everyone here, hello to all of the women business enterprises who are on the call today. Thank you so much for joining us. You know, Delta is the U.S. global airline leader in safety, innovation, reliability, and customer experience. And we are powered by our employees around the world. And for a decade had led the airline industry in operational excellence while maintaining our reputation for award-winning customer service. We are proud to say that we are Atlanta's hometown airline, being that we are headquartered here and we've served as many as 200 million people a year, taking customers across an industry-leading global network of up to 300 destinations in over 50 countries. So we joined GWBC years ago, and as Roz said, as a founding member, because we believe in the mission of GWBC then, and we believe in the mission of GWBC in supplier inclusion and women entrepreneurs today. We understand that women businesses bring innovation to the space, they bring great quality in products and service, productivity, and they are the engines behind helping to support the United States, strengthen our economy and all of the communities in which we operate. So we're very excited to be here today.
Well, thank you, thank you. And so let's kind of do a temperature check, right? Can you kind of share how you and the procurement team and any of the supplier diversity champions are doing at Delta? I mean, of course, we're in what, almost year 3 of dealing with, it is named Mr. Omicron now. It was Miss Corona for me, and now it's Mr. Omicron. And we're hoping they all vacate soon. You know, I think we have already given them, you know, the exit sign, shown them where the exit sign is. And so hopefully they'll be leaving soon. But what's going on? How is your team doing?
So Roz, as you said, no one saw this coming. So as you heard and seen in the news, Delta lost about 20% of our workforce in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. We went from being a $47 billion company to a $17 billion company. And today, as we continue to recover from the pandemic, we're about at a $29 billion company. So many of the women business enterprises who are on the call today may have experienced similar drastic shifts in their company's operations and employee base. But of course, at a large company like Delta, it's, you know, it's massive. And so through these shifts, you know, we have had to focus on cash preservation, the recovery of our business, as well as the care for our people and our customers. So buying a lot of goods and services and increasing spend in some cases was at odds with our, you know, our supplier diversity strategy as we think about how we need to recover. So now if you take a look at Delta today and after everything that has transpired across Delta and within our supply chain organization, we have and are continuing to experience the transition of staff and leaders, whether that is through the addition of new team members, people changing departments, or leaving the company. Our supply chain team continues to focus its efforts on commodity categories based on those critical active needs of the business. So as we continue to recover, we're looking to identify and include women businesses that can participate in some of those operations. So some examples of some of those critical commodities include fuel, of course, our onboard service experience, so food, snacks, and beverages, passenger supplies, and of course, the maintenance, repair, and operations of our aircraft. In July of last year, or actually this year, or last year, 2021, Delta started inviting its employees to come back to the office. And so we are looking for corporate real estate support in the maintenance and operation of our facilities, our airport, and our Sky Club properties. But in addition to COVID coming about, it actually brought about the expansion of our supply chain and helped us introduce new goods and services opportunities that emerged. So example, PPE. Before the pandemic, there were fewer people who knew about PPE, but now it's like a common word that's discussed in many home environments and business environments around the world. During the pandemic, we stood up a global cleanliness strategic sourcing team, which has actually expanded. It now includes health, safety, and cleanliness, and presents us with more opportunities for diverse supplier inclusion, and for us to get to know about and learn and work with new suppliers that can support us in those particular categories. From a personal perspective during this transition, and you think about the reduction in staff, myself and others' job assignments have been shifted or expanded to help support the operations of the business. So I've been deployed, to work on other, project initiatives that are occurring in the company where my value could be contributed. So I've collaborated with new leaders from different departments. And in some cases, I've served in new working groups that have been stood up during this time. This has allowed me to educate more leaders about supplier diversity and what we do to support our company's diversity goals. And along the way, we're creating a growing list of champions as we're creating more awareness inside our company about our program. And like everyone, we're looking for ways to continue to leverage virtual technologies and tools to make sure that we remain connected to and continue to have conversations and capability presentations with small and diverse owned businesses.
Wow. There are a couple of things you said, which I think are great, is how you're expanding the knowledge throughout the network of Delta, for one thing. Looking and paying attention to what their new opportunities are, especially as it relates to health. It's not a question of whether or not Omicron, will go away, or COVID. It is a question of how do we live with it? How do we thrive, while it exists, and what new products and services. The good news is that a lot of our women businesses did pivot or swivel their businesses to include PPE that supported a lot of the corporations, like Delta Airlines. So we were very glad that they were flexed in their thinking and thinking quickly on their feet to determine, what could they do in order to support the supply chain to make it healthier. So many thanks to the women businesses out there who also participated in that. And so, are there any other areas that you want to focus on within, kind of double click within Delta's supply chain that may be opportunities that our WBEs are interested in? I know you have your tech ops division, you have your general office division, whether it's the marketing, the in-flight, the IT. So are there any areas there that there may be opportunities?
Yeah, so if you think about other opportunities for women businesses that are actually new and emerging, you may have heard in the news that Delta is committed to an 8-year partnership with LA28. So this will make Delta be the inaugural founding partner of the Olympic and Paralympic Games Los Angeles for 2028, and a sponsor of the United States Olympic and Paralympic teams through 2028. So as Team USA's official airline, Delta will manage travel for US Olympians and Paralympians to Beijing, Paris in 2024, Milan Cortina in 2026, and then Los Angeles in 2028. So we also have a new internal Olympics team that is leading this charge on behalf of the company, as well as a sourcing team that will help us source goods and services to support that partnership. So this is possibly another new area where women businesses could contribute. Also, that is regularly out there in the news is Delta's commitment to sustainability. So sustainability and social impact initiatives will remain at the forefront of the work that we do. We have an ambitious goal to become the first carbon neutral airline globally, with long-term investments in combating climate change. So these investments will drive innovation, advance clean air travel technologies, accelerate the reduction of carbon emissions and waste, and establish a path to more sustainable future. So if there are women businesses out there who have products that align with sustainability in the global green movement, there's an opportunity to kind of, make yourselves known to Delta so that we can be aware of some of those opportunities. And so as I had just shared with Roz before we got on the call today, each year Delta's fiscal year runs from January to December. So it's this quarter one time of the year where we're really having our conversations with all of our 18 category teams to understand what the goals and procurement priorities they will have in any given year. And then it's our team's responsibility to say that based on the goals and the sourcing strategy of the company, we then redeploy our team and resources to identify qualified women businesses and diverse businesses based on those active needs of the company. So we are having those conversations now. I had my first round of meetings with executives last week, and we're going into having some more one-on-one meetings with some of the individual category leaders. And so by mid-February, I believe we should have our full outlined plan in terms of what commodities will be those that we focus on for this year. So I just want to give you some insight in terms of the types of conversations and the cadence for how that occurs in a large company like Delta. Certainly throughout the year, there may be new opportunities that come about, but that's how we take a look at our process first, is seeing like, what did we spend last year? What are the new opportunities this year? Are there opportunities to spend and grow existing diverse suppliers or add in new suppliers? So that's a very comprehensive and broad conversation that occurs internally to help us do a game plan for 2022. So beyond some of those examples that I shared earlier, certainly technical operations that you mentioned earlier, Roz, maintenance and repair of our aircraft. That is our bread and butter. We fly people around the world. And so making sure that those assets are safe, are operational, and have all of the fuel, the parts and components that they need to operate is essential for us.
Oh, great. You know, one of the things, and we have about a minute left, but I do want you to kind of just, if you can, run down a quick list of what the commodities are within an airline. You talked about the category managers, but just kind of highlight, because it's a little bit different in the airline industry because you have underwing, right? And there's so many opportunities there for underwing. And I know you have WBEs in that space. So, you know, if you can share that real quickly with the audience.
Okay, so 18 commodity categories, and we have about 74 strategic sourcing and commodity managers. It goes from, let's say, I'm trying to do these in alphabetical order. I'm trying to visualize my traditional slide deck. Airport customer service, corporate services, which is everything related to professional services. We have a finance, legal, corporate real estate, corporate catering, onboard services, technical operations. Now I'm getting outside of my alphabetical zone. Health,
that's
safety,
okay.
and
Just
cleanliness.
Even just a few is great, just so people will know.
Yeah, health, cleaning, and cleanliness, the onboard services. And so information technology. So that's one of the commodity teams I had my initial meeting with, but I'm going to do a deep dive with 3 of their sourcing leaders to understand, you know, what the layers are beneath that. And I think that, marketing and professional services. And so as we go about telling our story of sustainability, you know, the social impact and, you know, what we're doing from a DEI space, there are opportunities for diverse suppliers, for marketing firms, corporate design firms, video production firms, writing companies to all come together, you know, to help us, you know, tell that story.
Wow. Well, to me, this was great information that you shared. And, you know, you mentioned the fact of being all these meetings. So it could be exhausting at times, you know, in your role being a champion at Delta, you know, for diverse suppliers. So when you need some encouragement, you know, what is your go-to quote or song?
Okay, so for those of you who know me, I'm a dancer. I was on the high school dance team and the college dance team. So my personal favorite quote is, dance like nobody's watching, love like you've never been hurt, sing like nobody's listening, and live like it's heaven on earth. And that's by Mark Twain. And that just really, it uplifts me all the time. If I ever need encouragement, I turn on music and I dance around. And as crazy and as wild that I can be, but those are the things that kind of uplift me and keep me going.
Wow. And I love it because, and the fact that you incorporate the music in there, because you're right, it gets those endorphins going and it just makes you feel good. And who cares whether or not you can, compete with the professional dancers like on Dancing with the Stars, right? It is you moving your moves, and you never know when someone else may pick them up. So I love this saying as well, for the very same reason, of just creating energy, and more importantly, giving you a healthy opportunity, to kind of level set, things when so much is coming at you. And that's what I encourage our women businesses to do as first. So love the quote, love the whole meaning behind it. So thank you. And so
Roz, do I have like half a minute to get through two more key points?
Sure.
I wanted to share with your women businesses, and maybe some of you were already aware, but in December, we sponsored Women Business Enterprises National Council's Women of Color program in partnership with our corporate strategy team and our chief strategy officer. So we developed a webinar titled Taking Flight, Creating and Executing a Successful Strategic Plan, and led 100 women business enterprises on how Delta goes through that process. So that recording is live and available on the WeBank website. So you can take a look at that to help grow your business. And in addition, Delta's partnering with Operation Hope to support its 1 Million Black Business and Entrepreneur Initiative program designed to create 1 million Black new business owners and entrepreneurs by 2030 to help close the wealth gap caused by racial inequity and social injustice. So you can go to Operation Hope's website, operationhope.org, to hear more about that. So those are two new programs that I wanted to share with you.
Well, thank you. And those are great programs that I agree with for our WBEs. And what we'll do is put that link in either the chat, or you'll have it in the recording when you get the recording of this particular show, that we'll have that information for you. So thank you. Thank you for sharing that information. So, well, ladies, and I don't know if there are any gentlemen on this call this morning, but you just heard from one of our thought leaders from Delta Airlines. So we want to thank Kimberly Coffman for taking time out of her busy schedule and being with us today to share some real valuable information. So please give Kimberly a round of applause in the chat. Yes. So up next is our top 10 countdown of resources just for you. And you might want to stick around and listen to some of them, because this is listing some things of how you can start some businesses within the aviation industry. So stay tuned, get your smoothie, warm your coffee. Look forward to talking to you in a few seconds. All right, let's work on this top 10 countdown real quick. The National Business Aviation Association. It may be a good organization resource for you to consider and possibly join. And let's go to number 9. Number 9, how about starting a recruiting agency in the aviation industry? Believe it or not, it's averaging about almost $3.5 million a year for that particular business. Or start a ticketing platform business. That's about $1.2 million a year. And then number 7, start an air cargo business. That's an opportunity, especially for those in logistics, to think about, because there's always opportunity there. Think about what's happening in the supply chain of how we can't get products and services now, to the consumer. Then number 6, start a tire inflation service business. That is another opportunity that you may want to consider. Number 5, start an aircraft tire manufacturing business. So you can always become an OEM. I know there's Michelin out there and all the others, Bridgestone, but still, why not a woman-owned business? starting that as well. And then number 4, this is always important, especially what we call irregular operations in the airline industry. It is start a meteorological services business. There are opportunities there as well. Number 3, start an airport construction business. I have not gone anywhere in the year where there is some type of construction that's going on at an airport. So think about that. That's another opportunity, especially those who are in the construction business. Understand what it takes to become a supplier. You may have some FAA rules regarding that as well that you may have to implement as far as being competitive in your business, but something to think about. And then number 2, for those of you who have not done so, this is your opportunity to raise your voice on our radio show. Please sign up. It's free right now. I extended it through this quarter, but afterwards, it will be a charge to come on to market your business. So think about that. Believe it or not, there's a listening audience that wants to hear your story. You have 20 minutes to talk about you and your brand. So think about that. You can always go pay attention to our newsletter as well, or our e-blast, because that information is always there as to how you can schedule your appointment for this podcast. And then, of course, number 1, where here we're going to be hosting the national conference. And yes, it is scheduled to be in person at the Georgia World Congress Center, June 6th through the 9th, 2022. So stay tuned. The new slogan is Be Bold. And so think about that, of how you're going to be able to engage with our network of corporations and other WBEs across the country right here in Atlanta, Georgia. And so we hope that we will have a good representation from the Greater Women's Business Council region to attend, because now you don't have too far to travel if you don't live in Georgia or in the city of Atlanta, that you won't have too far to travel in order to hopefully grow your business. I will give you one hint that this year's conference is going to be modeled a little bit differently. So for those of you who are accustomed to having the trade show day, there will not be a trade show day. WeBank is working on that schedule to model so that they're improving the networking opportunities for our WBEs throughout those 3 days. And this is a result of feedback from the major corporations. So stay tuned for more information about Be Bold at the WeBank National Conference in June. So mark your calendars, ladies. And once again, we hope you're going to be able to incorporate at least 3 of the top 10 recommendations that we provided for you today. So hopefully we'll hear from you and say, hey, I tried one of those and it increased my revenue by $1 million. Yeah, I'm always going to set goals over $1 million. So that is something that we want to see you do. Well, we're almost at the end of our 30 minutes. And of course, we always want to offer something special like a Macy's gift card. So we have one lucky winner, and Kimberly has selected a number. So let me see if I got the name of who our lucky winner is. And the winner is Katrina Blavelt of ProSeal Plus. Congratulations, Katrina.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yes, congratulations. So we will get that Macy's, we will email that Macy's gift card to you today. So enjoy it. And we thank you for also spending this morning with us as well. And also now we're going to have a couple announcements. Please remember to register for our upcoming marketplace, our pop marketplace that's going to be held on March 30th during Women's Month. as well. And also, did I skip? Sherelle, you can go back if necessary. But also our next mornings with GWBC, where we will be hosting Prime Retail services. And our guest, of course, is Celine, excuse me, is Celine Connell, who's the director of pre-construction. And they are relatively new corporate member of us, starting our supplier diversity program. But I must say, this is a company that is getting engaged and getting involved with us. So we encourage you to also register for that upcoming event. And now for our pop marketplace that's coming up on March 30th, please remember to register for that. Register by February 28th in order to be considered for matchmaking sessions that we'll be hosting with our major corporate members. So keep that in mind. We want you to attend. We're going to have a general session first, and then we'll have the matchmaking session as well. Always, always an opportunity for you to virtually network with other WBEs. And more importantly, if you want to grow your business, you got to show up. That you want to stay top of mind as well of the corporations and other women businesses, because women businesses also have opportunities too. So keep that in mind as well. So we encourage you to do that. More importantly, please review our weekly e-blast that we send out on Friday. And once a month, we send out a newsletter with even more information and opportunities for you. So we encourage you to always reach out to us as well. If you have any questions, please go to info@gwbc.com, .org, because that way any of my team members can also address or answer your question for you in a timely manner. Well, until next time, we want to make sure that you have a wonderful and successful week. We ask that you stay healthy, stay safe, and most importantly, stay strong. And don't forget social media. Please, please follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Bye-bye.
Have a great day.
Hey, Joe.